It's been recording. Hide the vape.
Okay.
Is my voice level right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Live and Learn podcast. I'm Cooper.
I'm Arpan.
And today our very special guest is Serjey G. So,
Doctor.
if you live for the good moments
And learn from the bad.
you're in the right place. Welcome to the Live and Learn podcast.
Why are you sounding so ethereal, bro?
I don't know. Oh, I guess I should mention our usual host, David G, will not be here today as he's feeling a little under the weather and did not want to expose himself to us. So we thank him for that, and he will be dearly missed. So, Serjey, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself, you know, kind of where you've come from and where you've been and where you are now. Just...
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I'm Serjey. I was born in Moldova. It's a small country in Europe. Came here in 2004. I was 6 years old. And just grew up here. I actually know Will or Cooper from, I moved to Bloomington, and that's where we became friends until, I moved a little bit later. But just graduated with my degree in human biology and preparing myself to... Thank you.
Congratulations.
And right now I'm studying for the MCAT, preparing myself to try to get into med school.
Boy.
Yeah.
I heard that's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
I have some other friends in medical school, and they're nonstop studying. It's crazy.
That's basically what the grind is right now.
It's interesting to see how hard they party too. I know you're not a huge partier, but sometimes it's like these medical students, they like work so hard and they party even harder. So.
Yeah. I mean,
they go hand in hand, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I still, I'm not in medical school, so I wouldn't know. But I can imagine.
Even just some people, I guess not medical school, but some friends of mine who are, studying for the MCAT and going through those courses.
Yeah. I chose a different route, I guess. I didn't end up going to like a 4-year university like you guys did. And I didn't really have the college experience, but
you kind of went the community college route, right?
Yeah, community college route. I didn't really care for that all that much,
there is something to the whole college experience, but then there's also, I think there's a benefit to doing kind of the more low-key community college aspect because you're saving a lot of money. You'll probably still make, the same amount of connections because where'd you go? Hennepin Tech?
North Hennepin Community College.
Okay.
And then I transferred to Northwestern Health Science University in Bloomington. But and I'm not putting down that experience of like, I'm not saying that it's bad or anything, but I just didn't think it was for me. I didn't feel like I really needed it. Like some people come from, bad households and they need to get away. It's totally understandable if, they want to go to a 4-year and just get away and be in like a, I don't know, safe place with friends and just focus on studies and whatnot.
Reinvent themselves a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, just like you did with your name.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you came from Moldova when you were 6, and now you're working towards something better, something where you can, in your capacity that you eventually want to be, whether that be you're shooting for a doctor, correct?
Yeah, I want to be a physician, correct?
Physician. So wherever you end up, you want to be in a position where you can, uplift other people or help other people.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to help people.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoy seeing the change I could potentially make as a physician in other people's lives. And just doing like little stuff right now.
And that's what I was going to ask. Yeah. Has there been like moments or points in your pathway so far that make it worth it, that make you want to continue down that?
Yeah, I've been recently volunteering for a company, or it's like a program, Alina Eye Clinic.
Okay.
And it's called the Eye Program, EIE capitalized. And basically what we do is, well, I'm just a volunteer, but what they do, and I come help out, is we go to different schools in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, elementary schools, and we screen children to see if they have any problems with their vision, and we refer them to an eye doctor. Basically.
What kind of issues do you usually see?
Well, I mean, if a child has a lazy eye, that could potentially. And I just want to preface this by saying that I'm obviously no eye doctor. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But just doing from light Google searches, it seems like if a child has a lazy eye, that could potentially have worse long-term consequences.
Okay.
There are different things where like if a child has blurry vision, or if they're farsighted or nearsighted.
Yeah.
We have a special device that actually uses infrared technology, or an infrared camera, to scan their eyes and see if they need to be referred or not.
Okay. So they're the children are just lined up in the gymnasium, and then they go in and look at the little device, and then you just record all the data. You kind of facilitate.
Yeah, sure.
That process.
We basically have the first kind of round of something called the WIPLO. It's the acronym. It stands for whites, iris, and then I forgot, but because I haven't really, I've only done that the first time today. I'm usually taking the picture.
Yep.
But they go through that. They see is one eyelid lower than the other? Are the whites of the eyes a normal color? Is the iris okay? Are the pupils fine? Are the eyelashes normal? Or I don't want to say normal, but are they out, or are they poking the eyeball? You know what I mean? So that's the initial thing. Initial assessment, and then they get taken to where I was with another person, where we get their names and we take a picture of them, and then we see what the machine says, and it usually says either pass or refer.
Okay.
And so
you just kind of make that decision or disclose to those children or their parents that the device said we're referring you, and you should probably go see a doctor. And then we're partnered up, or I keep on saying we, but that company that I'm volunteering for is partnered up with two other companies that they provide different glasses, and one provides frames and one provides the actual glass. Okay.
And so for more people who can't afford them, low income.
So with that, I'll kind of use this to segue into our main talking point on this episode, which is giving back. What does giving back mean? What does it look like? What are the benefits from giving back and potential drawbacks? So I guess I'll start with a simple quote. The more you give, the more you receive. And this is from Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and several other personal finance books. But what, I suppose, Arpan too, do you think there's truth to this statement, or potentially some falsehoods as well? Do you have to give first before you can receive? So I guess we could start with your position that you are doing, your volunteer position. You're giving your time up, and in return, in the future, or maybe just in those moments, you feel like you're receiving something back.
Sure. Well, I was going to let Arpan go first, but I guess I could go. Well, I'd be lying to say if I was just doing the volunteering just to do the volunteering. I actually, while I did find something that I really, really enjoy, and I want to keep on doing this position for as long as I can. Originally, I was also looking. So for the application process, I believe it's called MCAS. We have 15 different experiences that we need to put in, or extracurriculars that we need to put in, and
so this is fulfilling your volunteer work is fulfilling one of those requirements.
This would be fulfilling one of those requirements. So I do want to disclose that it's not like
you're doing it for like just out of the goodness of your heart.
It's not like I'm doing just. While I do really enjoy this work, and I try to take more shifts than usually people take one shift. I try to stay there for more than a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
I do really enjoy the work, but yeah, I mean, I think you always should be trying to give more to others. I feel like when people have the mentality, it's like to expect things. That's when maybe that's when resentment comes into play, and that's when you just get like maybe you expect things from people, so you get upset.
Yeah,
it's better to have that relationship where you're like, I'll give all I can give, or I'll give what I can give and expect maybe even nothing in return. You know what I mean? I feel like if
or just people, expect very little, and then whatever is going to come in return is going to feel like a lot. Because it's not like you're expecting anything big.
Yeah, for sure.
In return.
But yeah, in terms of the volunteering, I now I realize how much I actually enjoy it and how much I want to do more of it now. So I think there was a different change, for me, or realization for me, I guess.
So you can enjoy it while also fulfilling that requirement that you need in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
And to kind of forward your career goals.
Yeah. And and I think it would be cool, like I wish I did more stuff like this beforehand too, but the only volunteering stuff I really did before was feed my starving children, or like helping with streaming at church every week, stuff like that. But it wasn't necessarily like, while that is, I would say, community based, this is like a different type of volunteering that I've never done before. But Arpan, how about you?
Going back to the question, I do think there is some
I
truth.
think we should restate that.
Oh, so the quote was, the more you give, the more you receive. Basically, you have to give first before you can expect to receive anything. And the more you give, the more you will receive back.
Mm-hmm. And you followed that by saying, do you think there is much truth in that?
What is the truth in that?
Yeah,
and can it be false too?
I think it's a truth, like it's a human truth.
Yeah.
Like all of what we have kind of accomplished has been like foundationally rooted in the fact that like we give and we like help as much as we can, because I think once we got to a point where like we could, this is like going really deep into it, but like I think once humans got to a point where we could specialize in things, I think everybody like has their thing that they want to do. And when you get to a place that you like really want to do the thing, you don't really care about like making money or like taking over. You just want to do it, and you want to teach other people to how
you want to
do
contribute in that capacity, in whatever your like skill, trade, or.
And I think teaching is a very big part of it too, because like at the end of the day, I think most of us at some point come to the realization that we're extremely mortal. And
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope.
And I think there is a lot of peace to be had when you give back and teach like the new generation, or anybody, honestly, just the skills that you like manifested and like,
Yeah.
let's see, what's a better word for that?
Manifestation.
I thought that was a
Yeah.
good description.
Yeah, manifested along the years of like your mastery of the craft.
So, what about the argument that we as humans only really help other people in the end to help ourselves? Like,
I don't think that's
Like
a
was-
bad thing.
yeah,
Does that need to be a bad thing?
not, I suppose not necessarily, but we're not like
yeah,
intrinsically.
you can go the whole like, 7 deadly sins. You're selfish, or like you're driven by greed. But I think condensing it down to just one is very detrimental.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you might have done something because of greed, but that doesn't like discount everything else that you've done. And even like when you say stuff like that, like greed isn't something that like greed isn't something that people don't feel. Everybody feels it.
Yeah. So you shouldn't feel guilty just by, even if you're helping someone out, you shouldn't feel guilty knowing that by helping that person, you might get a benefit in return.
Because like I think a lot of people discredit the fact that people give back to their community just by saying, "Oh, he's just giving back," or like she's just giving back to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there is truth in that. Like,
Or the big
I
corporation is just giving back to the charity to help their image.
And taxes.
And taxes.
And like there is, like, you're gonna feel better. Even if you did it, you would feel better. Like that isn't a bad thing. You're not, it's not the fact that like you're not allowed to feel good.
Yeah.
Like you should feel good and give back at the same time.
I like it.
We could think of this. I don't know if you've had a question about, because we're right now talking about the broader aspect, like community-based stuff. I don't know if you were going to talk about like relationship, like close relationships.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk. We're kind of that's a good segue into the next part. In what ways do we give in our lives, and what do we gain? So you were kind of mentioning in relationships. So like a relationship, like an intimate relationship, you're giving your time, your affection, and quite possibly a large sum of your financial outfit to kind of gain a relationship and an understanding between another person, whoever your partner may be.
Well, it also doesn't necessarily have to be a partner. It could be, your family members.
Yeah.
It could be a friend, and
family. It can be apprentices. It can be teachers.
And we were talking about earlier how, like with my wife Taylor, it's like it's hard sometimes. Obviously, I think everybody's constantly working on their relationship, whether it be with their partner or a family member. But back to the trying to give 100% and not expecting anything, or like give 100 but expect 10. I feel like that leads into a better relationship. But that's so both people have to do the same thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like we give.
You try to give selflessly.
Yeah, we try to give selflessly, and I'm not talking about we. When I say we, I'm saying like everyone.
Yeah.
Should for like a happier life. Should try to give selflessly. I can't talk today.
Selflessly, whether that be like your closest friend or a stranger that you met on the street.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily greedy. I mean, for me, like we were talking about the college thing earlier. I've never found it all that fun to, go out to bars or party. Or
everyone has their thing.
Everyone has their thing, and like I'm personally happy that I found Taylor, because we both like to do the same thing. We both kind of like to either stay home or spend time together. And it's like other people are a lot more social, but like my social meter runs out pretty quick.
Yep.
And like we both, at the end of the day, like we might be I don't think it's greedy to, you know, give, like, you know, you said that, yeah, we give all these things, but is that greedy that we do this for something in return?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. Like, it depends. If you look at it that way, it could potentially be greedy.
You might have, you know, that might just be how you think, and you're just always feeling some sense of like guilt.
Yeah, but I think that really goes into like narrowing down what you're looking for, right? Because like if you narrow it down to like the scenario be you're giving Sergey $500 for something, right? And like, you know, you can narrow it down to, hey, he did it because he wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
But
it's
then
kind of
you
like,
can also narrow it down to, hey, he gave this because he wanted to help his friend.
it's like,
And
I bought this pizza for Serjey and I beforehand, and he was trying to pay me half for it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's fine.
No, you're just trying to show off.
Yeah, maybe I was just trying to flex $10 pizza. But no, because I was kind of, you know, you could say selflessly taking the financial burden off you, how big or little that might be, but just with like the knowledge that, hey, you're my friend and you'll help me out in some other way. So it's kind of like,
yeah, we got each other's backs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but to resolve my point, I think you can look at it as two very narrow arguments, or as a whole that, you know, yes, he got something from it, but he also gave. And, you know, that's the entirety of it. There is no good in the fact that he gave. There is no bad in the fact that he felt good about it.
Yeah.
You know?
I do have to say, I feel like not everybody might have this type of mindset.
That's fine. We're open to all mindsets here.
Exactly. And so, I mean, and I feel like it takes a lot of time to get to a point like that. You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing. You know, as long as you're trying to better yourself and try to look at things in a better light and trying to have like, I used to get really upset at people. Like if someone cut me off while driving, but I'm like, you know what? He's probably like having a bad day. It's probably an accident.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's a chain reaction of negative thinking and behavior. Sure. And then by you deciding to not like retaliate or anything, you've stopped that chain reaction right there.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know.
So we were kind of touching a little bit on this, but what should our expectations look like before giving and then kind of after giving? Should we expect something in return, and should we be disappointed if we're not getting what we're looking for? If anything, if we're looking for anything.
Arpan, you want to go first?
I think like excitement and disappointment, I think those are things that you lead up to if you already presume something. So I think like
if you're expecting so much after giving so much, and then you might not ever reach whatever you get in return, might not ever reach those expectations, and you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
But like me personally, I don't really think of it in that manner, because it just goes how the dice rolls, you know? Like, yeah, you did this good thing. Like you don't look for the best in all the good things that you do, best for yourself. Like you just do it, and one day the lottery hits, and like, you know.
So you're thinking you're talking more like karma. If you're doing good things, good will come back to you, just like, based on the universe happen.
And I think like a lot of people, I kind of want to like draw the fact that like a lot of artists and like, people of that mindset always, like when they're in interviews and stuff like that, they always say, hey, it was just like, I got lucky.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And I think like giving goes in the same regard, where like, you just give as much as you can, and one day you might get lucky. And the fact that like, someone that you gave came back to you and was like, yo, thank you. Or even just like, wrote you a thank you card. Like that's awesome. And
So
like
we
sometimes
always-
you
yeah.
get like a massive business opportunity. And there's everything in between.
I hope so.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say something.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, just to kind of go off of that. I hope this doesn't sound bad, but I always just, if there was a exam and I didn't study for it all that well, I just already expected a fail, like a F.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if I'm already expecting a bad grade, I'm not going to be that surprised when I get it.
And then if you do good, then
it's like,
pleasant
surprise.
surprise.
Yeah. So, I mean, that might not be like the best way to look at it, because and I guess I'm talking about something that,
Well, you always talk about being realistic with yourself. That kind of sounds like an extension of that mindset.
Sure. Yeah. That could be like a little bit negative extension of the mindset. But I don't know. I mean, I think maybe we should think about specific examples of, giving 100%, but not like expecting all that much. Because we can say that all we want, but like, again, it sounds really stupid, but like the dishes and stuff, Taylor gets sometimes I say
dishes,
one,
dude. I swear I'm doing them every day. Like
I say one thing because we should be doing this, we should be giving 100%, but I'm a hypocrite sometimes. And that's totally fine. Like, as long as you strive to do it. But yeah, I bet Taylor would love if I put my dishes in the dishwasher right away. And sometimes I don't do it, and she gets upset. So there are some times where people aren't the best, but that's just life. That's what we are. I don't know how well that goes off your point, but
yeah,
I feel like we do have to be realistic with ourselves, because back to the we were talking about rappers and stuff. It's like it kind of is a lottery. Like, there's so many SoundCloud rappers, and then boom, there's one, and then all of a sudden like super famous and has 1 million followers on Instagram.
And
but for them, it can't just be luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it has to be grinding.
It's a lot of factors, right? But the biggest thing when it comes to people saying that it's luck is, I think these people are always going out and finding new people to talk to, and
they're going way out of their way. Yeah.
So they're doing 100% all the time and expecting almost nothing in return, and then all of a sudden boom, they get that one thing. Is that what you're trying to say?
People, I don't think people. I guess I don't think of it in that manner, but I don't think most people. I don't want to generalize it, but I want to think that most people don't think in that manner. I want to say most people just they don't think of it as grinding. It's just what you do on a daily basis. If you see someone, you say hi. That's just courteous to do. That's just nice to do.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about rappers specifically.
Yeah, no, but going back to the hitting the lottery, sometimes just because you said hi to this random dude on the elevator, he turns out to be the producer of this really cool beat or something. Yeah. And that's how you get connected. That's how your next step happens,
I was going to say though, how, when we talk about giving 100%, does that necessarily have to be? I feel like I feel like I say hi all the time to everyone. I try to talk to everyone, but when we talk to giving, like what do we necessarily mean by that?
Giving, well, we talked about giving your time away. You know, something just as simple as giving a present, giving like assurances in people's life, like you're married, you've made an assurance with your wife that you'll be together, sickness and health until death. So that's like a gift of an assurance. And then money too, just giving like a scholarship or an award or something of that manner.
Sorry, I just want to clarify.
Yeah. Large aspect, like giving.
Yeah.
That's just all the different ways we can give, broad, and then how does that help us, and what do we expect in return?
And like personally, I do think like giving someone like a greeting is one of the most like
it's like the smallest thing you can do. The smallest thing you can give.
The smallest thing that you can give, but at the same time, I think it's so much more meaningful.
Yeah.
Because like you didn't have to wake up and like, you know, on your way to work, say hi to this random person, but you did, you know.
And you could have made their whole day.
Yeah.
Especially like, you know, sometimes at school and they're the kids that maybe just don't talk to anyone as much, and you're trying to talk to them or whatnot,
or like a cashier or something. I always say thank you to cashiers and like make a point to like look at them and smile and say thank you. Because most people are just, you know, any like retail job or anything, it's just in and out. People want their service and they're gone, and like you gotta treat them like a human. Busting out some more.
Just to let everybody know, today's podcast has been sponsored by the BBC. Is that what you're going with?
Benson Brewing Co. Yep. Right now, we are sipping on some orange kombucha. Lack of a better name.
What is this one?
This Arpan has the berry rosemary. A little better name.
Yeah.
We're marketing department's a little slow right now. So, but
it's really good.
This episode is brought to you by Cooper's Kombucha from Benson Brewing Co. All right.
Do we want to explain the name situation or no?
BBC?
No.
Benson Brewing
Cooper,
Co.
Well,
I think we've said something about it.
We've kind of touched upon it.
I introduced myself as Cooper, and my other name might get slipped out every once here and there. But the viewers know me as Cooper, because that's who I...
It's just so weird to say, you know, knowing you for a while now. But.
Okay. So we're talking about giving and what we get back. Let's go a little bit more into what we're getting back from giving. We talked about luck, just having something lucky happen to us, like run into someone in the elevator who's going to give you that big opportunity for the job. But how about like giving back or giving and kind of expecting something and wanting like growth from that, like giving someone money to invest something, or maybe giving a gift to someone and they're giving you a gift back.
So I actually have a story I just remembered about the, you know, being super nice and trying to give your all. And I guess that's a form of giving, and not expecting anything in return. And so my cousin, my cousin's husband, he worked at Apple, and you know, he was looking for a new position, but he wasn't looking for it too hard. But all of a sudden, he helped a higher up, not the CEO, but you know, or in that
regional manager or something,
some kind of role at at an airline.
Okay.
I don't really want to name it, but and she was just like, she's like, "You want a job?" Because he was just telling her about how he was being super nice, outgoing, and just talking to her about life. And then all of a sudden she's like, "Well, we're actually looking for someone to do this." And he's like, "Oh wow, I didn't even know you were the CFO or of this airline or whatever." And so now he's been at that job for like 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
And he loves it. But back to the moving on to the next thing, where with an investment, I feel like that might be a little bit different, because when you invest in a company, it's just like the stock market. You invest money and you hope that it goes the correct way so you can make some money back. But I mean, if it's family, I guess, and you really believe in the idea, and I mean, I don't have that much money in my Robinhood portfolio, but
Hey, at least you have a portfolio.
yeah. But yeah, I think that going into it saying, this is the money I'm going to put in and I'm probably going to lose it, and I have to be fine with that. I feel like if you look at it that way,
if you have that expectation that everything's on the line and you're just going to be okay with it, you have to have that mindset that if you lose everything, life will go on and you'll be all right. Or on the flip side, you could benefit and make something from it.
Yeah. Yep.
So
for sure.
I feel like that's just like a overall good mentality to have, especially us as young investors. If anyone's investing anything, you have to have that mindset that you potentially could lose it all, but being able to put that risk on the line and be okay with that.
What are your both of your thoughts on, there are some people that give, but they want others to know it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? I guess, like, should we be giving? And there's like that one Bible verse is like, don't let your left hand or know what your right hand is doing or whatever. It's like, should we be giving and like
seek a praise?
Yeah, seek a praise, or should we just do it and like not even let anyone know? You just do it for yourself. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you could be a saint and working your butt off and not like going through any extra effort to, get approval or get praise from anyone else. And then there could be someone else who, helps an old lady cross the street or whatever, and he goes viral and he's all of a sudden a saint because he's done one good thing. So it's a double-edged sword like that. Not to say that you should.
I don't think he means it in the manner that he was luckily found and he's a saint because of the internet spreading it. I think he's talking about people who make those videos themselves in hopes to concur that feeling out of others.
Okay.
Instead of him being filmed by some random person and then
I wouldn't necessarily think that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Unless that person's only doing
or maybe just scenario change a little bit. That person set up the whole thing to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
Or they kind of just started the track of.
Yeah, I think that goes into a lot of the YouTube social experiment videos that kind of were big couple years ago, where people would just go and give homeless people a bunch of money.
Here's $1,000, or let me pay your rent.
Yeah.
And which I guess was cool, but
you can't really
made so much more than that.
Yeah, you can't hate on them too much, but at the end of the day, it's they were they're really looking out for themselves.
Yeah, I think that's very engineered in the manner that they know that's going to pull on people's heartstrings and they will share it. So they're going in it with kind of the intention that, hey, I have figured everything out. This is exactly how this is going to circulate.
Yeah.
And first of all, I will be favored upon in most people's minds because I'm doing this great thing, but at the same time, I'm also like raking in the fucking cash because this thing is getting millions of views.
I like the old like Christian proverb. I'm not super religious, but I was raised Catholic, so this is one story that rings true with me. Was I think like Jesus and one of his apostles were watching people go up to the tax bins and pay. No, it wasn't a tax bin. It was like a donation at the church. They were watching people give their gold at the donation bin at the church, and a super wealthy like landlord or prince or king or whatever he was goes up and drops a huge lump of gold coins in the coffer, and everyone's like praising him, and he goes on his merry way. Very well known and obviously high up in status. And then they watch kind of a more rundown looking woman go up, and out of her bag she had 3 coins, and she gave like 2 out of her 3 coins. And Jesus asked his apostle, well, who gave more, the rich like prince landlord or this old lady who only gave 2 coins? And the apostle of course goes, well, the landowner, he gave that huge bag of coins, so obviously he gave more. And Jesus goes, nope, he gave only a small fraction of what he had, while that poor lady gave almost everything she had. And that is like that's a huge thing. Like you can be super well off and super wealthy, and you can give way more, but that's still, you're only giving like a small percentage of what you have. Or if you have a bunch of free time and like no issues in your life, you can be out there and give much more of your time and effort towards issues, where if you're poor, you cannot give quite as much.
And obviously everybody can give in different ways. I love that story, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody can give in different ways, and it doesn't necessarily have to be financially.
Mm-hmm.
People can give their time.
Yep.
That's one big thing. I feel like now that I've been exposed to this other type of community based involvement, I really actually enjoy it quite a bit. And I was gonna say that could be another way. Like if you can't give financially, something like that could definitely help, because you're actually helping out the community and you're changing people's lives. And I think it's really awesome, and I think it makes you feel better. Like you don't necessarily have to tell anyone about it. I was just asking for your thoughts. What do you guys think? Like some people are just like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, and this, and that's I don't think it's like necessarily a bad thing.
I think it's perfectly okay to give your time, give your money and energy just for your own personal satisfaction.
Yeah, sure. And then that's what I was gonna say. Like it makes me feel good for sure, and it's something I definitely enjoy, and I hope others feel the same way too, doing whatever they want to do to give.
Yeah, and with any luck, then good things will come your way.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think that kind of completes our discussion on giving for now. We'll move into money moves, and this should be more of an interesting topic. I bring this up because it's kind of like a little venture that I've been trying to get into, is like Instagram or social media side hustles. And that's like selling a product or service like strictly to your social media following, whether that be like Snapchat or Instagram or something. And an example could be this lady who my dad just hired. One of her daughters sells jewelry on Instagram, and she does like jewelry drops. Or another one of my girlfriend's friends strictly sells pastries. She'll bake like a batch for 10 people and make like a pastry box, and then just do an Instagram drop and sell out every time. And I was talking to her today, and she does such small batches because it's so much work, and it doesn't matter. She'll sell out every time. So Instagram side hustles or social media side hustles.
I'm so glad that you brought this up because I was actually wondering if you guys would want to join this opportunity
Oh, here
to
we go.
join Beachbody. It's not a pyramid scheme.
Oh my God.
It's multi-level marketing.
Yes.
You just have to
Is this
invest.
the Cutco situation?
Yeah, sure. You just have to invest a little bit of money,
Yeah.
buy a bunch of products, but you work for yourself. Obviously, I'm kidding, but
No, seriously.
no, but yeah, I think if you first of all, you definitely have to make a good product.
Yeah.
It can't be any of those like MLMs, super cringy that
MLM.
Multi-level marketing, like those
the pyramid scheme.
type like Beachbody and all that fun stuff.
So a lot of those sponsored ads that I get on Instagram, I should scroll past.
Well, yeah, I mean,
MLM is very specific, right? It's the, hey, here's a higher up. I bring in 4 people to the company.
Yeah.
They all give me royalties, so I have incentive to bring those people onto the company.
Okay.
And then,
they don't actually. It's like they do kind of sell the product, but they more sell the
potential
to sell to other people, like the role. Like you're like, oh hey, like you work under me, and then you get a couple of guys.
It's like if someone, it's pretty much someone hiring me to sell like 4 things, and being like, hey, if you get other people to sell those 4 things for you, you get 25% of whatever they make. So you look for more people. And it's just a whole shit.
I think someone's tried to get me to join a pyramid scheme.
Oh my gosh. It literally ruins families, honestly. Ruins friendships, families, because there's all you do, like it says like 9 to 5, but all you or like live or work your own job, and you don't have to work a 9 to 5, but literally all day you're just messaging your friends like, hey, buy this. But I mean, sorry, I shouldn't have went off topic.
Getting back to the discussion.
What I was gonna say is you definitely want to have a good product, for sure. And like obviously this kombucha is really good. I think you're gonna have some success with it.
I hope so.
I think I gave you the suggestion earlier to see if you could sell custom kombucha, something specific that
so it's definitely like whatever your product or service is, you want it to have that special touch that makes it your product, and sets you apart. Instagram
could be like your little consumer base could be the little Etsy, the mini version of Etsy, because
I think Instagram has become that place, right? It's become that place where everybody goes, especially in the times like this where like most people can't meet in person. Like it has become the bazaar where like, you go there and you look for things, especially with the new update and like Instagram, like kind of making it part of their platform to sell on it. I think it has given validity to the fact that like, hey, I go on Instagram, I find my neighbor Betsy who sells, I don't know, chalk paintings, and I like it. I like Betsy.
So specific. That was unbelievably specific.
So
I don't have a neighbor named Betsy who sells chalk paintings. I just came up with that.
So what do you think it would take someone's Instagram? What do you think it would take for someone's side hustle to go to like a main income stream on like a platform like Instagram? Like you got to be out and about, kind of in that marketplace that you're advertising to, meet new people, make connections.
You definitely have to live the lifestyle, I guess. I don't want to say the lifestyle you want to become. It's not like you want to become kombucha, but but yeah, definitely. I feel like if that's what you want to do, then you gotta. I mean, you got a degree in microbiology, like all like how to how to work with this type of stuff. You can get the specific equipment. You can be on those forums talking about everything kombucha related. You can go to the different if there's kombucha conventions. Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you want to like do that, you gotta manifest it. You gotta live it.
You gotta stay focused.
Yeah.
And be determined and follow that pathway.
Yeah, you can't be the kombucha king if you're, just watching Netflix.
Yeah. But, another way, a big thing I think people could benefit is getting endorsements by friends or like other people, like the advertisement, like your friends are all having a good time. I don't know, wearing the jewelry that you've made online.
Sure. And that goes back to, or not back, but my dad, he works in remodeling. So literally all of his work is word of mouth.
Yep.
Every single, he's been working for himself for over 5, 6, 7 years, I think, or maybe a little bit longer. But all of his jobs that he's ever gotten was like, oh, hey, I'm going to tell my friend about this. And then the friend calls and then, oh, someone else knows about it. And, I think that's how it works.
So it's really kind of like starting that chain reaction. Is you've done a good job. Your product is good.
But I guess that's the other thing is like for that to happen, you have to have a good product that you're proud of.
Yeah. I think it goes beyond that as well. Like, I think the product needs to be good or like the skill set needs to be good.
Yeah.
But you also need to be a pleasant person to talk to.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's like overlooked so much because nobody wants to work with a dick. No one wants to hire a dick to like do their stuff for them. Because if something goes wrong, they're going to be a dick to you.
And also, no one wants to work for a dick either. If you're like, running your business and, you're kind of influencing other people, you want to be a person that they can trust and confide in.
And I think like, just being a nice person while also having a good product, that's like the best combination that you can have.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not discouraging the dicks out there. Like, I'm sure there are some extremely like
spoken.
Well, not spoken, but like the people who made well for themselves while still being dicks. But like, I think once you get into the realm of like actually creating a community, I don't think you can do that without being a decent person.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely merit in that, and definitely agree. I mean, that doesn't mean that like you have to be nice 100% of the time.
Oh yeah, it doesn't mean that you need to be nice, but like you don't have to be that person who's always like, oh, how are you? What's up?
Yeah.
Like you just don't. You can't like interact with people in a negative manner, though.
Yeah.
Like your interaction should still be not trying to invoke like, violence or like, negative responses from people. Cause like you can say hi to me and I can be like, oh, and then just walk off. Like you can't do that as a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Like what if your dad showed up to a client's place and like they just said like hi and he was like, and then kept going. Like, didn't want to work with him again.
Dad doesn't speak English.
Yeah, but my dad speaks broken English. So.
Yeah, but I think to this point...
I mean, he'll talk with people. Though. Yeah. Like, he you know him.
How are you?
Yeah,
by this point, he knows what good morning is.
Yeah.
And I think people, even if you don't speak a language, I think gestures like that are very common within like most.
Yeah, smile is universal. Yeah. It's universal.
And like at the very least, you smile back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like maybe we're in a different part of the country where people don't have a lot of trouble doing that here. I don't know.
Oh, I've heard about like some places like, I don't even know, down south or somewhere.
Dude, New
Or
York
like-
City is like the worst
Yeah.
offender.
Nobody-
Everybody's talking about how everybody's mean in New York City.
Nobody cares about other people. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that, but you know.
Thank goodness we're from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that baby.
Minnesota, nice. All right. Well, I think I'll end us there.
All right, that was a
Yep.
good time.
You Instagram side hustlers, keep working, and maybe one day you will be financially free just from your little side hustle that you started. That's what I'm hoping for. If you like kombucha, maybe one day I can sell it to you.
Yeah.
You gotta
We're
get
gonna have
that.
a
You gotta
big
get that
kombucha
online
company.
branding though. You gotta get that Instagram page up. BBC.
Yeah, I'm trying. BBC.
You know, I do have to say, my dad doesn't even have any sort of social media
Yep.
at
Yeah.
all. I feel like you can
But,
make it
like-
work with.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you should grind as much as you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Find out what works for you.
Find out what works, and then I feel the rest will come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think.
Everything will come with hard work.
Yeah.
But I think social media is a very generational thing, right?
Yeah.
Like for us, it makes sense.
Yeah.
For most people older than us, it's hit or miss.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I try to stay away from
Yeah.
social media. I feel like it's more.
But you can use it to your advantage.
You can use it to
shouldn't
your advantage. I feel like
discount that
if
too
you're just like specifically just doing it for your product, then sure. But once everything else gets involved, then I don't know. I would stay away from it. But yeah, if it's for specifically your product, then I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the that Facebook thing that happened earlier this week, a lot of small businesses were affected by that. So
That was very like that's something that we can talk about for a while because like it's crazy to think how many people could not talk to each other because like Facebook owns Facebook Messenger and Facebook or Facebook also owns WhatsApp
and
which are-
Instagram.
and Instagram, which are one of the like three of the main instant messaging like apps in the world.
kombucha.
And to think that there was a blackout in all of those for approximately like 2 days.
Wait, it was 2 days.
I mean, it was how long was it?
I think it was just that one full day.
Yeah,
Just like
a
midday till the night. And it wasn't anything. I mean, they're a huge company with crazy resources. So
a day and a couple of hours, you know.
Yeah.
But like that's still crazy though, because like so much happens in like 27 hours. Like there were
In today's
kids,
age, yeah.
there were kids who couldn't like tune into class because class is
for
done.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Or on Facebook? There's classes?
Something like WhatsApp, you do video.
People
Oh.
use that for like hey, you need to ask your teacher something. It's COVID. You can't meet them. What are you gonna do? You're gonna WhatsApp them,
Oh, I didn't
or you're
understand.
gonna
Message
text
them
them
on
over
Facebook or
Messenger.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of that happened, and like it was, it wasn't as big in this country because I don't think instant messaging, at least like online instant messaging, isn't
But
that
still-
big here.
Oh, it's
Snapchat.
Big. It's big in the Asian countries.
Yeah, Asian countries and European countries, you don't really use text over your phone. Like instant messaging over these apps is like the main way people talk.
Yeah.
So that's absurd to hear that there was a blackout for 27 hours.
All I know is that my feed wouldn't refresh.
While I felt bad for all those just poor innocent people that this happened to, I thought it was kind of funny at first because
Of course it's hilarious.
Yeah, everyone's like,
It was
screw
just like
Facebook.
a whole bad move by Facebook, bad move by Facebook, bad move by Facebook.
Think about how benignly, or that's the word that I'm looking for, like, right?
Oh well, keep on talking and we'll see if
Yeah.
that's the word.
Benignly this all started,
Yeah.
like it probably was just like, you know, a Facebook employee was like, oh, why is this wrong? And like, you know, put in an extra line of code in something.
I think that's what I heard, but after I did a little bit more reading, and fact check me if necessary, but I think it was they just didn't get like an extra server or something, and then it just went down because like you have to.
I thought it was
renew your
like I
server.
read something where Facebook like runs its own server,
Yeah.
like so. You know, if the Facebook server goes down, then everything's down, and they don't have like a third party server to run themselves.
Well, basically, I don't know if I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think it really matters at this point.
Yeah, but like,
It's
you know, the
whatever happened.
The catalyst for it was probably something that was like, you know, very not that important.
I think somebody definitely got fired that day.
Oh yeah, of course.
A couple of people.
Because like think of it, it's kind of akin to the whole like, you know, the Evergreen, or was that the name of this ship that was like stuck in the Suez Canal for like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Evergreen.
Yeah.
Well, I think Evergreen is just like the shipping like company.
Yeah, but was the name of the ship not the Evergreen? I thought the name of the ship was the Evergreen.
No, Evergreen's just like
just
like the shipping like.
Okay.
That's what's on all the cargo.
But like that's another scenario that's like kind of akin to this, right? Because like it was just a fuck up by this one captain.
Yeah.
But it led to nearly like 7 to 8 day waits for like people across the world because like, you know, their shipment didn't get there. I think like the bill that racked up because of all like the productivity that didn't happen for that was, I think, somewhere along the lines of like a couple $100 billion. And that was like, you know, just one ship stuck in the Suez Canal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Catch us next week. Hopefully David G will be back feeling better, and we will have another guest.
Sorry, wasn't that good today.
Thanks again for being on, Serjey, and we will see you around.
Thanks for having me.